Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 2 versus 2 on the Skerries. Playing on Team 1 as the Death Korps Krieg, we've got one Kenobi, and we've got Critter 256 playing as the Steel Legion. Whereas on Team 2, playing as the Death Guard, we've got Mr. Blue Dude, and we've got Parched Bear ×4 playing as the Raven Guard. So what, Raven Guard and Death Guard, that's two guardy kind of people, versus Death Korps Krieg and the Steel Legion, which are guard kind of factions. So quadruple guard for you, right there and then. And yeah, the Skerries, we've not seen this map for a bajillion million years. I do believe the last time I did a cast on this map, that was after I ate quite a spicy piece of food, and that cast, my goodness, my gracious, was quite a painful time for me, but definitely not made that mistake again today. We are seeing a Falcon Nullmalt placed right outside the Death Korps Krieg, so Mr. Blue Dude being quite aggressive here. And yeah, I mean, the Death Korps Krieg will sometimes pop down a bunker in especially these like narrow choke points, which are on either side of the map, and maybe even around this critical location here, which would then be quite difficult for the Raven Guard and the Death Guard to break through. So I imagine Mr. Blue Dude is probably popping down Falcon Nullmalt just to prevent any kind of bunker kind of scenarios on the go for them. Lord General's command squad is coming out to say hello, and they're going to go straight for those veteran bodyguards, getting those plasma guns on the go straight away in case any heavy infantry starts mucking around on this side. You see the Poxwalker slave being annihilated, and a sizable amount of Nurgle cultists charging on over. Now, one thing to take into account for this map is that the vast majority of it is negative cover. I mean, there are plenty of places to stand around where there aren't any negative cover, but that does mean that your positioning, unlike a lot of maps in Dawn of War, is absolutely paramount. You've got to make sure that you're properly positioned if you are going to engage in a ranged kind of fight. But if you're going melee, then I suppose that's not as bad. Moving on, we do have a bunch of horses coming straight over to the Raven Guard, so a bit of aggression for both teams here. A brother captain, a powerful power sword. Do you have a pistol? Yeah, you do have a pistol. So that is something. Steel Legion trying to decap and recap things on the Raven Guard side of the map. But Parched Bear ×4, you know, 4 times the amount of bears that could ever possibly want or need, is no pushover. He's going to try and keep on top of these guys. Submarine Artificer is also coming in for some fire support, as the Falcon Nullmalt over here has been taken care of by the Death Guard. Looks like they're going to continue pushing down onto the southern side. And there's not much going on for the Raven Guard at the moment. He's just trying to keep the Steel Legion back with just his brother captain. No grenade launchers on the Legionaries as of yet, although it's always a good idea to get some of them, as they are quite strong grenade launchers, all things considered. They're just going to hold back things as much as possible with the minimum amount of units, which is pretty good going, all things considered, but definitely need to bring those Tech Marines back to build up some listing posts, just for the economic reasons. Down over here, the Death Korps Krieg continue their merciless march down south. Listing post attempting to get a poisoned marker enhancement. And I don't know which company you've gone for, but if it's the one that increases the damage for the Belchers you've got on your team, that'd be quite useful. Unless, oh, have you actually gone for the... Nope, you haven't gone for the 4th one or the 5th one, otherwise we know you could get a metal gun. Oh, no, you've gone for the one which lets you get grenade launchers. Okay, alright. So light on the tier 1 for both the Raven Guard and the Death Guard by the looks of things. We've also seen some Nurgle cultists on this side of the map as well to assist the Raven Guard in keeping alive. Brother captain taking barely any damage actually in this prolonged engagement. Very good stuff. Listing posts have been upgraded for defensive purposes. And that should in theory see the Rough Riders at least outside of the base for the time being. Now we've got the grenade launchers on the Legionaries, as the Death Guard have managed to defend their half and home. Seems that, has that been the majority of... Yeah, it seems like a lot of the dead have come about for the Death Guard. Or Death Korps. That's going to be really confusing. Death Korps, Death Guard. Good lord. Surprised I didn't make that mistake earlier. Get Nurgle cultists will soon be surrounded. Want to go back home at some point. Soldiers here seem to have been beaten up quite considerably. The morale slow to regenerate as they push those guys back. Steel Legion now just chilling out on the ground over there, doing a little bit of artillery. There's a relic that they could try and secure for themselves if they want to, but relics do take quite a while to get. Every team, well, the Death Guard have got the relic for the southern team, And then the Steel Legion have got the relic for the Northern team. And in theory, this should belong to the Raven Guard, and then this should be belonging to the Death Corps. Which, I mean, it does for the Death Corps. Not so much for the Ravens. Sizable amounts of soldiers coming down to say hello to the Smelly Boys. As the brother captain just riding solo, just going at it by himself, now being supported by some grenade launchers from the Nurgle cultists. Also got the Dark Fury assault squads. Powerful power claws. Ready to high five the Legionnaires right across the chops. And the Lieutenant Colonel along with their ranks. Probably don't want to stick around. Yeah, okay, the horses will be able to hang about for a little bit, but it's still quite a sizable amount of close combat DPS on the go. We're going to see some more Dark Fury people as well incoming. And so the Death Corps will come over. It is a bit of a 2v1 kind of scenario down on this side. Rough Riders chasing down the Nurgle cultists. There's the one singlet squad of soldiers tries to keep the Dark Furies busy. Going to turn their attention to the listing post. And in theory, they should start sending at least maybe a squad of scouts down over to start capping their strategic point. That'd be useful. The more money, the more things you can buy. That's how money works. A slight breakdown of the economy. I should have worked for the economy. I reckon I could fix it. Just print less money, make people buy more. I think that's how it works, isn't it? That's how it works. Well, Dark Fury Assault Squad is low on numbers, being bamboozled by the sheer amount of lasgun fire incoming. Brother Captain is continuing his merciless assault, but he's a bit low on health now. Down to the yellows. Now seeing a Commissar whiff. I do love the electrical flare on his power weapon there. Very aesthetically pleasing. We'll be able to keep the soldiers in line. When the Death Corps Krieg lose their morale, you basically lose control over them, and they will just stand in range of whoever they're fighting. Although I do believe that, say for example, if these guys had the morale broken now, they would finish whatever their last movement order was. So let's say they were fighting someone down here, and then you right click, and then they start walking that way, and then the morale breaks. They will just walk over there, and then they'll start punching people about. That's how I think it goes. I'm seeing a barbed wire fence horizontal in place down there, which will slur anyone who comes within a certain radius of it. They're quite useful for bobbing and weaving between the Dark Furies. Well, actually seeing this point being taken by the Death Guard. So the Death Guard going to take a little bit more in the way of money at the expense of the Raven Guard, but I suppose that you've upgraded, yeah, 2 listing posts, so you should, I mean, well, actually, 68 and 50, not an amazing economy, all things considered. But as long as the Southern team get a combined economy that's on equal footings with the Northern team, that's the main thing. Dark Fury now having a sniff around that relic. Death Corps amassing in number, but the bloated Rhino with its plague, belcher, spear, whatever you call it, it's keeping these guys at bay. Morale about to break. There we go, but the Commissar can, like I say, keep them in good stead. They don't need inspiring, they just need telling off. No. Don't throw your lives away now, throw your lives away later, at the right place at the right time. Bloated Rhino is in a bit of a bind. I assume he's just here just to be a nuisance and keep the soldiers at bay while the rest of the Death Guard go about their wicked and foul business. A second bloated Rhino comes on over. He's doing this AoE plague ability, which is not doing these guys any favours at all. Soldiers dying left, right and centre. Got a replacement Lord General, he must have died earlier on. And he's just going to get into close combat, do love to see it. I've got no anti-vehicle weapon, but I can certainly give you the old stabberoonie. Manages to do it by taking a fair bit of damage himself. Hellhounds armed with... Oh, you watch the anti-infantry variant of the Hellhound. Get a pintle heavy stomach, but cannot get a multi-melter. Lieutenant Colonel with his bodyguard of Ogrins. And there, that's a proper Hellhound. Going straight for that Devil Dog to help it blast apart vehicles and the such. They're looking almost indestructible. Oh, right, no, you've got, that's a singular blast. For a second, I thought that was a long flame like the Hellhound of the Death Corps Krieg. But like that, Different guns, different visual cues. Always important for when you're playing as them and when you're playing against them, to make sure that the proper counterplay can be identified. Plague Havoc's an ideal unit up against factions that enjoy lots of vehicles. Get 2 of them. Stick them in a Rhino. Mobile anti-tank support there. And then throw in some Dark Fury Assault Squads in there just for good measure. Also got the Malignant Plaguecaster. Always a nice touch, as his ranged attack basically hits everyone around the model that he hits, so quite a lot of AoE damage. Since the Plague Havocs don't do any major damage against infantry until they get their Putrid Missile upgrade in tier 3, kind of do need that Malignant Plaguecaster just for the anti-infantry stuff. And yeah, just pure Bloated Rhino. Oh, have you got... Right, is the third company also the one where the vehicles do damage AoE to anyone nearby? Could be wrong. There's like 8 companies. You can't remember them all off the top of your head. I wish there was a little thing where on the tooltips, if you make them big, it tells you which company they belong to. But I suppose that'd be quite a lot of work in the coding side of things. And it's a small quandary, no major problem. But Dark Fury is attempting to push on over here, but a combination of grenade launchers and hellhounds are doing them in. Bloated Rhinos are taking care of the infantry and also doing a decent job against whatever else they find. There's 4 of them. I do believe that there's a limit of 4. Yeah, I'm fairly certain. 2,000 health as opposed to a hellhound with 2,200 health. Considering that you cost 150 blue and 150 green, Rhinos are a lot cheaper, so pound for pound, you get better value with your Bloated Rhinos, especially since Bloated Rhinos also, I do believe you come out with a missile launcher. No, you don't, but I think you can get upgraded in the gifts repository. Or maybe I'm getting that confused with something else. Maybe it's a different Plague company as well.
Where is
Oh, the captain's still alive. Good on, yeah. Let's have a look at the economies really quick. 1, 10 and 50 and 86 and 50 compared to 104 and 79 and 80 and 15. Look at it from the Death Corps perspective for a little while. And yep, relatively even Stevens when it comes to the monetary fundings of these armies. And the triple Hellhounds unable to really press on through when these Plague Havocs are knocking about. But you know what? It's a real shame that we don't get to see this map more often in 2v2s. I just like how it's just got 3 lanes, and all this negative cover does make the engagements a lot more interesting in the grand scheme of things. We've done some... the one time I swap away from the Raven Guard and get the infiltrated units out, they got the Welsh Space Marines with their sniper rifles, easily breaking the morale and killing individual units. And what do you have for infiltration detection? I can't remember. They don't have skull probes, do they? For the Steel Legion or the Death Corps Krieg. I don't think they've even got Psychers, these guys. They don't have as much of a selection on heroes that lead units as much as the other Imperial Guard factions. Back at Normal, spreading its way slowly across the battlefield. Gun turret in place, quite a powerful turret, all things considered. The Death Guard taking it down 1 missile at a time. Blood Rhino absorbing a lot of damage as the veteran squads now are struggling to really find any kind of targets for themselves. They want to be slicing and dicing up infantry, but this is just a pure tank battle at the moment with a few supporting bits. Lord General's command squad now got a grand total of 4 lads in there. And those plasma guns are something to really, really watch out for. I like it. It's a nice composition that both teams have. You've got the Death Corps and Steel Legion, which kind of work out in a similar kind of way. They've got relatively okay infantry with quite powerful tank options as the game progresses. They're just going for Hellhounds now, but if anything, just to hold the line for a little while. They've also got really good mobile heavy weapons teams. And the Southern team, you've got the Raven Guard concentrating on the infantry side of things, and then you've got the Death Guard focusing on the more bigger and badder stuff. He's now going to go for a Plague Predator just to bolster the ranks. Yeah, we've already got 1 on the field at the moment. And that should certainly, if you've got the Raven Guard on the front lines, keep the Plague Predators on the back foot. The whole smoke spot of Lascar as well. Oh, there's a Manticore. Where is the Manticore? Oh, you're right here. Firing off into another video in the future. And yeah, the amount of damage that the Manticore does, very slow firing rate, but he just sends that. I just look at that, the whole squad almost wiped out. Fair play though, that was probably like the second shot. Won't get it done in one, I don't think. Like Havoc's a little bit too far forward. Malignant Playcaster getting right in there. Oh dear, that was... Okay, maybe it is a whole squad wipe when you hit a enemy unit right in the middle. So absolutely, public enemy number one. That Manticore needs to be shipped out ASAP. I don't think its artillery can hit aircraft though, so maybe aircraft is the way forward. But then you also have these Hydras, which in support of that Manticore will make getting the aircraft nearby very, very difficult. Veteran Vanguards brought down to 5 models with relatively low health for a lot of them. That poor straggler being taken down to Browntown there. And yeah, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do against all this? The Steel Legion have come packing. They have got all the tanks you could possibly want or need. And so long as the Hellhounds and the soldiers of the... I mean, what are the Death Corps doing? Okay, oh, you're getting Basilisks, right? Pure artillery here. So this is going to be quite a deadly situation for the team on the south here. Definitely need some flanking troops, which the Death Guard aren't known for. It's going to come down to how the Raven Guard position themselves. They're going to jump straight over into the middle, see if they can slap down a Hydra or two, throwing around a couple of melter bombs. One goes down. Havoc's getting a volley into that Hydra. But jumping in, killing one thing. They know that the Manticores ran all the way back home, so may as well go back. But, oh, he's getting ready to fire another missile right in the middle. Boom! Throwing everyone everywhere, but they seem to have survived that a little bit better than previously. Got the Lieutenant Colonel on the front lines with his Ogren bodyguards. The Plague Predators now taking a fair bit of damage from the Grenadiers. Are looking for some melter guns. Actually, not that much in the way of melter guns at the moment. They are researching them for now, but has given the Plague Predators a little bit of time to move on a bit forward. Need those Raven Guards to come back on over to tie those guys up. Oh no, they're going to capture the critical location. Now's not the time for point capping. They're going to get in the way of the Plague Predators as they try and run away. But they aren't dead yet. They can be repaired. That is the major problem when you go for a team composition rather than an individual army. These guys, yeah, okay, fair enough. Maybe the Death Corps are focusing a lot more on the infantry than the Steel Legion are. But I mean, you know, like for the team on the southern side, you've got to make sure that when the tanks engage from the Death Guard perspective and the Raven Guard engage more or less at the same time, it's quite hard to organise two players together. Whereas the Steel Legion, I mean, they kind of work on... Oh dear, that is... I mean, it's such a fragile vehicle with only 2,700 health, which I mean, doesn't sound very fragile, but believe me, it does go down after a few shots. But, you know, it packs quite the wallop. Doesn't do much against vehicles by the looks of things. There are some shenanigans going on over here. Bloated, bot flies even, flying on high. The Basilisk just chilling out over here. I think he might be stuck on something. Can't quite turn his body around to fire. Very unfortunate. Oh, well, he died. Just a couple of shots from that Basilisk's pintle heavy stubber, and he goes down. Yeah, are you stuck, Basilisk? Is that what's going on here? Very unfortunate. I think it's got room to turn around. Potentially, possibly. Yeah, Botfly needs to fly on over and take out the Manticore as best he can. It is now being repaired by the Pioneers. A little bit of quiet on the battlefield as things start getting into their formations. A land speeder storm. A couple of them. Interesting that you're not going to go for the flying variant of it. More Dark Fury assault scout squads. Oh, just there's no scouts in there, just assault squads. Welsh Marines coming back out for another go. Don't think the Welsh will help here, though. Don't get me wrong, nothing against them. They've learnt a lot in the valleys, but yeah, they definitely need to take on the vehicles more so than anything else. The infantry is just there to tie things up and get in the way. And here comes a Macharius. However, one would want to enunciate those words and verbs. Plague Surgeon for the health, believe it or not. That's what he does. Which I suppose is like the opposite of a surgeon.
10 men who know where
Like, oh no, the wound's infected. Good job. Oh dear. Oh. No, did Welsh. Only half health.
6 minutes until taken hold victory.
Taking some sniping shots off at those legionaries. As another one comes in, yep, and that'll be a lot of them dead.
Then it is easier to strike the heart.
Yeah, it seems that these guys have got a bit of tunnel vision. They want to come down here. And they're trying to push through here to get to all that juice stuff on the side. You can just go around there. You don't have to go through this middle bit. There's a whole avenue and corridor. They can just walk around and... But, you know, in-game, it's quite common that people do get horse blinders on them. There we look at that. Just go around the side, man. Plague Predator doesn't seem to have been healed all that much, but oh, Plague Reaper. A whole smorgasbord of death and disease soon to come. Raven Guard move on the left-hand side. A lot of fire coming towards them, but they don't mind. Allows the Plague Predator to move forward. Big explosions everywhere as the Manticore has been placed nice, firmly around this teleportarium. The Macarius going for a Omega Plasma Cannon, which would be amazing against heavy infantry formations. Dark Fury Reaper people and the Vanguard veterans just engaging in a whole smorgasbord of close combat. Limbs flying every which way. Ogren bodyguards falling foul as the Plague Reaper will turn your guns towards this massive infantry over here. They're going to give them the old 360 before then opening a deadly spew of plague and filth. Laser Destroyer is a prime candidate for his targeting as it is good against taking down Titan-esque units. There we go, he goes down. Lots of fire, if you pardon my mispronunciation there. Attempting to purge the battlefield of all disease, and that is a mighty size plasma cannon. Charging up, was right in the middle. Good heavens. Even the Terminators go down without much hurt. And I don't think we've seen the Steel Legion and the Death Corps Krieg work so well together before. Very nice combination of units. So what's the alternative here? You've now got a sizable amount that are now playing on the offensive. Beckett Normal popping down in the middle. Just vibing, man. Losing all that, especially the big tank. Are you rebuilding a big tank? You are going to get another one. We're also going to regain your Plague Havocs. Oh, but then we've got a Riser, Pattern, Baneblade. 2 huge tanks from the northern team. As one just... He's stalling. He's just trying to turn. Turning wheel's probably stuck on something. One Poxwalker Slave backflipping to his own doom there. As a second infection point, he's been built for more plasma generator usage. Commissar just charging in like a bad man. He won't survive it, but his legend will live on. Plague Predator being sent in. Probably want to hold off on him for a little bit. A bunch of Vanguard veterans charging and throwing as many melter bombs as humanly possible at the Riser Baton Baneblade. A Manticore still MVP. I wonder how many kills he's got tallied up. Definitely probably the most deadly thing we've seen on the battlefield so far. Go on through, mate, be kind to me. Let me just get the big scoop. As the Baneblade moves on the left-hand side. Plague Reaper comes back on over here. And the chances are slim. He's at least going to try and keep these guys at bay. We do have some Luminous Incinerators been sent down. As the Raven Guard, they've kind of just stuck with this whole jump unit kind of thing, which I like the idea of. Like, it made sense, but I think maybe some more vehicles from their perspective might have been useful. Like I said, I'm still quite surprised they didn't go for the aircraft. Even if you're not going to take on all this kind of stuff down here, maybe going up against the plasma generators just to force some of the Steel Legion to come back and defend might have been the play to make. There's still plenty of melter bombs for flying back on home. Plague Reaper looking less than healthy, but it is being rebuilt by the Poxwalker Slave. Basilisk off in the distance as the Macarius Now adding to the fire. Missing a shot there, but that's alright. You can't hit them all. As long as you try, that's the main thing. It's firing one right in the middle of those boys. Good heavens. And you can just see all the corpses right down in the middle where the big battles were happening. Macarius now being assaulted by a whole smorgasbord of las cannons, missiles, all that stuff. Got heavy weapons platoon that's been annihilated here. On the Raven Guard, I've got very little. Oh no, you've still got some forces down here. Might be wise for everyone to focus on one big tank and then focus on the other. I've got some Death Riders able to equip themselves with some powerful Melter Lances, which temporarily increases their anti-vehicle melee damage by quite considerable amounts. But the Plague Tank is kaput. So is the Macarius. And the moment it dies, well, they can just build another one. Oh, 250 and 250. That is stupid cheap for a tank that size. Oh well, fair enough. That's what it is. This blue dude says GG. So does Critter and everyone else. And what an absolute slobber knocker that was. I think like I said earlier on, if they just went round the side, if they just, you know, whoop, or went all the way around it, don't mind us, sir. We'll just, okay, if you're going to set up around here, we're just going to go in, bash all your stuff. And the moment you start getting out of position, then, I don't know, then maybe send the Plague Marines down over onto this side. Sandwich them in between two. That might have been the way, but I do, like I said, like the idea of big chunky things for one person and then lightly armoured mobile things for another person. Working in tandem, it would have been good if it worked, but it didn't, so there we go. So yeah, so cheers so much, boys, for sending this game into the Discord. And if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you once a game a week, and there is also Discord where Discord things happen. Links in the description as always. Mine's been Mr. Landshark, pleasure as always, never short, and I will see you in a bit. Peace.